Picture this. The year is 1986. The goal is massive: to release a sky-filling torrent of 1.5 million balloons high above the heart of downtown Cleveland. This wasn't just a massive charity fundraiser. It was the city's Hail Mary Pass, a bid to finally put the growing city of Cleveland on the map. But the crazy thing is, this would be remembered not as a breathtaking spectacle, but as a genuinely shocking, fatal disaster that we are still talking about nearly 40 years later. This wasn't just a failure. It was the moment Cleveland learned that sometimes chasing a Guinness World Record can cost more than just money. Sometimes it costs lives. This is the story of Balloon Fest '86. To understand the sheer lunacy of releasing 1.5 million balloons, you have to understand Cleveland's vibe in the mid-'80s. The city was struggling. It was carrying the weight of the infamous nickname, the mistake on the lake. That name stung hard. City leaders were frantic to prove that Cleveland was well on its way to becoming a world-class city. So, they looked for a big, flashy, capital S statement. That statement came courtesy of Disneyland. The previous year, Disneyland had set the record for the biggest simultaneous balloon launch. And somehow, Cleveland's movers and shakers convinced themselves that crushing Disneyland's number with 1.5 million balloons was the ultimate PR move. No budget too big, no goal too silly. The United Way of Cleveland greenlit this unbelievably ambitious undertaking and brought in a PR firm from LA. This operation demanded serious commitment, 6 months of planning. They had to construct a massive net, think a temporary outdoor stadium, the size of a literal city block, designed to hold the entire 1.5 million balloons captive until launch. It took literally thousands of volunteer hours. Local students, retirees, everyone chipped in to fill all those balloons with helium. The city was buzzing. The atmosphere was electric. The launch was set for September 27, 1986. It was going to be magic. But while the city was focused on helium and records, real-life tragedy was already unfolding. The night before the launch, a vicious, severe storm had rolled through the region. As the news anchors warned, I want to remind everybody in part of Ohio we continue with that severe thunderstorm watch until 1 a.m. 2 local men, Raymond Broderick and Bernard Sulzer, had already sailed out fishing on Lake Erie. On the very morning of the 27th, the 2 fishermen were reported missing by their worried families. Their boat was found abandoned, and the authorities quickly surmised the turbulent weather had caused the men to fall overboard. The Coast Guard had immediately launched a major search and rescue operation, sending out helicopters and boats to scour the turbulent water. Back in downtown Cleveland, over 100,000 people packed Public Square. The organizers were feeling lucky that the previous night's storm had cleared. But as the afternoon wore on, the weather always has its own plans. A major rainstorm was closing in. The problem was, those balloons were already filled and ready to go. Imagine the panic. The logistics of rescheduling would be near impossible. The entire project would be deflated, both literally and figuratively. They had one choice left: launch the balloons ahead of schedule. The countdown finished. The net dropped. And for a fleeting moment it worked. The announcement boomed over the speakers. A world record has just been broken in Cleveland. Over 1,500,000 balloons. It was stunning. It was a massive, colorful cloud of hope and triumph for the city of Cleveland. But then, the atmosphere did what PR firms can't control. The official plan was that the helium-filled balloons would float up, distribute, and deflate harmlessly. Instead, the wind abruptly shifted. You can hear the terror in the live commentary. And the wind has just shifted just enough that the balloons are now trailing fast. This is beautiful. The balloons are coming back this way. They're coming back. A violent collision between the cold air and oncoming rain acted like a giant invisible ceiling, forcefully pushing the balloons, still perfectly inflated, back down towards the ground in droves. The result was instant, catastrophic mass chaos. The city was instantly overwhelmed. The balloon blizzard hit Burke Lakefront Airport first. Within minutes, the main runways were so heavily blanketed in latex that all flights had to be suspended. Imagine trying to land a plane into a giant, colorful marshmallow cloud. The balloons descended onto city streets, triggering multiple, scary car accidents as drivers swerved and slammed on the brakes. Key roads were shut down completely. This wasn't like clearing leaves. Crews literally had to bring in a bulldozer to clear out the balloons. The city was paralyzed by its own celebration. But the real, heartbreaking issue was still unfolding on the water. The Coast Guard was still out looking for the 2 missing fishermen. An astonishing 60% of the balloons launched landed directly into Lake Erie, not the planned 10%. The Coast Guard had to navigate an endless, undulating sea of latex. The commentary hits the truth hard. That big balloon launch at Cleveland today is one of the things that's making this search so tough for the Coast Guard. The balloons created a visual whiteout. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack here. Can you imagine trying to find somebody floating out here, or even spotting a life jacket with all these balloons on the water? The Coast Guard crews were spending valuable search time navigating and avoiding balloon clusters, making the already desperate search and rescue operation impossible. 2 days after the launch, on September 29th, the Coast Guard finally called off the search for the 2 missing fishermen. The bodies of the men eventually washed ashore, confirming the worst fears. The spectacular stunt had critically hampered the life-saving effort. The lawsuits came fast. The family of one of the fishermen sued the United Way for $3.2 million. But it wasn't just a human tragedy. A horse owner in Ohio also sued, claiming the falling balloons spooked her prized Arabian horses so badly they suffered permanent injuries. What started as a huge charity fundraiser ended up being a net financial loss for the United Way of Cleveland due to the legal costs and settlements. The event was briefly enshrined in the 1988 edition of the Guinness Book of World Records. But here's the final, telling detail. It was the only edition to include it. Due to the tragic and logistical fallout, Guinness ended the category of balloon launching altogether. What Cleveland got was notoriety, not respect. So, if this chaotic tale of 1.5 million balloons descending on an unsuspecting city made your jaw drop, do us a favor, don't let our channel float away. Like this video and subscribe before the next great, spectacular failure in history lands on your feed.